Concord, California. Thank you for providing the programming 24 hours a day. I was raised Wiccan. I love her uncorrupted truth and her skill with original languages. She's beyond refreshing. She gets it. She is so real. I love the teaching on traditions and Christmas. I've said all of my life that it's not a real holiday. When I come to Southern California, I will definitely call for a reservation. Okay? I'm kind of sitting here a little bit blown away by some of these messages. And I don't want anybody to think for a minute, I mean, when I say I'm blown away, this is God working. We just get to be the onlookers who get to see some of this, and that's what's mind-boggling. That's really what is like, right? Okay. Some of these folks, and there is actually a reoccurring theme here of people saying, you're not afraid to speak the truth no matter what the consequences. Well, that's what teaching the truth should be like. I think about, it's a tragedy when we open our Bibles and we read things, a description, for example, of John the Baptist or of any of the individuals that preached, save maybe the persona depicted of Stephen, who comes across as, we know very little about him, but just before he's killed, he comes across perhaps as maybe a little bit more mild in temperament. But most of these individuals have boldness to them. And I don't find anybody saying they're sorry or making apologies for the gospel's sake. I'm not ashamed of the gospel. You don't hear anybody saying, now the gospel's a little bit old-timey, so we're gonna put it in modern ways so that you can understand it better, and maybe if we put a little massage on the message, you'll like it better. I don't read any of these people doing that. And I have presented to you, and in my way, in my style, like I said, it's interesting, we have to find ourselves to be able to navigate. It took me probably at least 2 or 3 years when I took the pastorate to navigate and find my footing. But I know who I am in my calling, and I understand what it is I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to be a good entertainer. I'm not trying to wow people with impressive words or even linguistic skills. People will write all the time and say, how come you don't use more language? Well, I use it when it makes sense or when there's something there that will help us. But just for the sake of doing it, a lot of times there's people who are not proficient in other languages and they have zero interest, and that aspect can almost make people be afraid, like, well, if I don't understand that, how can I understand the rest? Therefore, I don't think I want to get involved because I can't understand. It's actually a circle, and then they just don't bother. So I don't want to give people the extra excuse, nor do I want it to be something that I do that's merely gratuitous because I can, therefore I do. No. Use it when needed. But what I do love about these messages, as you can tell, it's a broad spectrum, a good representation from across the country. And these are all people who want to hear the Bible, the word rightly divided. There are people out there that want this teaching. And that just thrills my soul because, you can get into the state of thinking, if you just base it on what you see here in Southern California, unless you're having an hour-long music service where people just look like they're high. They aren't, but they just look like it. Or whatever else they've taken. Or, if you see all the things that go on here, and that is certifiable church. But God forbid you should tell people, open your Bible and just follow along or read like, oh, what is she doing? We want our church. We want our music, right? We want the entertainment. What, open a book in church? Are you kidding me? So I'm so grateful to see this. but it's doing something else for me. It's making me understand that just because we may be in a place where there are not as many people interested, you can see straight across the country there's an abundant amount of interest in the things of God, and that makes my insides just happy, filled with joy. So we're just going to keep doing what we're doing and let God see. It's all about Him. It's all about, He's the one that brings the people. We can go out and we can buy the airtime, we can do this and we can do that, but He's got to get the people to tune in and to actually sit through an hour message and then to call in and then to participate.